It's gooning time. Ah, shit. What you're looking at is a budget Acer laptop from 2012, which I got for free. There's just a few problems. It's extremely slow at the moment and the screen is absolutely trashed. So let's get that fixed first. First, let's get rid of the old display. This is the part number in case you need a replacement screen yourself, which is highly unlikely, but sure. Here I'm checking if the replacement part is indeed the same display, which it is, and then it's time to get the new one installed. And this is the moment I realized I did not record what the broken display looked like. So I'm reconnecting it here. I had some trouble getting the LVDS cable in place, so I chose to use some electrical tape. Well, very much broken. Let's get rid of this shit. You can see I am pressing the power button to discharge the device as much as possible anytime I try working on the inside.
Smoke test!
I replaced the internal hard disk with an SSHD. Now, SSHDs are hybrids between hard disk drives and SSDs, but they've been completely superseded by SSDs at this point. And rightfully so. Like, look at this shit. Disgusting. Time to reattach the lid. But wait, one of the square posts got fucked. Oh well, let's get this thing back together, shall we? I'm using some electrical tape again on all the cables to make sure they stay in place while putting the lid back on. Then I noticed another oopsie during my previous handling. I seem to have broken off the Wi-Fi antenna on the lid. Yikes. Armed with some super glue and tape, I tried getting the antenna to work well again. But in the end it didn't work so well. After recording this video, I replaced the antenna for the Wi-Fi card with one from a donor laptop. Now it works way better. Time to fit the other parts of the display assembly in place, which are the webcam and microphone. Putting the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth antenna back in place was quite a challenge. The cover has plastic tabs to help route the antenna, but annoyingly the cable can snap out of those tabs quite easily. After that's done, we can screw the display onto the back cover. Now for the peel. Nice! As for reinstalling the front cover, I just made sure the display is hinged back quite a bit and then inserting a button first. I put pressure around the entirety of the assembly to make it snap in place. When this happens, you will hear some satisfying clicking noises. After that, we install screws. And we're done. With the display repair at least. But I'd also like to make sure this laptop is actually sort of usable again. So I'm replacing this 4GB RAM stick with this 8GB one.
Smoke test!
Great success! We will also be upgrading the battery. The original was only 4200 mAh and not in great shape. The new battery has a capacity of 6600 mAh. Linux Mint reports a weird capacity, but it's probably fine. I still have some other things to worry about first, like updating the 2012 UEFI firmware. The update only runs on Windows, so I had to completely get rid of the Linux Mint install I did of camera and instead installed a fresh copy of Windows 11 onto the original HDD. Now don't worry if you don't see me pressing keys in the next segment, because I'm using this wireless keyboard for easier recording. Now before I swap the hard disk with something better, it's time for some speed tests for a nice before and after. On the original hard disk with Windows 11 installed, startup takes a staggering 1 minute and 29 seconds. Starting Firefox takes 30 seconds. Autoplaying on DVD with VLC takes about an entire minute. And finally, shutdown takes 18 seconds. Now it's finally time for some change. Before getting rid of the hard disk though, Let's first take an image of the current installation to copy over to the SSD so we can make an accurate before and after comparison. We'll need to make sure my external SSD is on top of the boot menu. Then we will need to install the key for secure boot to make sure we can actually boot to my external Ventoy SSD. Now you might ask, what is Ventoy? Well, Ventoy is an easy way to boot an ISO file of any operating system conveniently from one USB stick or disk. This is the SSD we are going to be using. It's a Samsung SSD of 2TB and it's a few years old, but it should do the trick quite nicely. Now to copy over the entirety of the internal hard disk, we need to set up the USB adapter like the one I have here. To clone the hard disk over to the SSD, we are using EaseUS to do backup. Now, for whatever reason, my first try did not work at all. It just spit out this fake error. But the second try worked just fine for whatever reason. Teaching Sand to think was a mistake. It only took a stupid amount of time to complete now though. But at least it did. Now it's time to shut this thing down to finally replace a slow spinning rust with an SSD. I just love SSDs. Startup now takes just 48 seconds compared to the 1 minute and 26 seconds of before. Starting Firefox takes just 8 seconds compared to the 30 seconds of before. And starting a DVD only takes 29 seconds, shaving off about half the time required to load. Finally, shutdown only takes 11 seconds now. Very cool. Now it's finally time to get rid of Windows. Because while Windows is the most used operating system in the world and has been for quite some time, Linux operating systems can be way more lean and can make use of the system resources way more efficiently. Here I am booted into a live ISO of Linux Mint to deploy an image of said operating system I made beforehand. Now you don't have to do it this way, but personally it's my go-to way to set up a new machine, especially if it's mine. This way I can set up my machine exactly the way I want every time, automatically. After all this, we see a reduction of 4 seconds in boot time. Not that much. In the Firefox startup test, again we see a slight reduction. I first had to figure out why the DVD wasn't getting automatically loaded by VLC. Turns out there is a setting for that in Mint. In Linux there is a setting for pretty much everything. Now in this test we see a pretty big reduction in time compared to Windows, which is awesome. I just love how snappy Linux can feel compared to Windows. Shutdown now takes 2 seconds shorter, just a slight reduction again, but it's something at least. Now for some more upgrades. The Wi-Fi card in this laptop can only connect to 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi and uses an old Wi-Fi spec. My internet download speed is 100 megabit per second, but I only get 31 megabit per second extremely close to my router. Something needs to be done about this. Now, this laptop uses mini PCIe cards for the Wi-Fi, while newer laptops use M.2 cards. This one comes out. And the new one goes in. Nice. Don't you just love inserting stuff? Anyway, I chose an Intel wireless AC7260 card, which should work quite nicely. Intel cards are known to work very well on Linux. Time for some new tests. It can now finally connect to my 5 GHz network. But for some reason it only showed a link speed of 130 megabit per second at the time of recording. It should connect at higher link speeds just fine, but it's probably just a shitty antenna. Whoops. But hey, at least now I finally get my full download speed. In short, we fixed the display, got a much faster disk installed, improved Wi-Fi speed by more than double, installed a new battery that lasts way longer, and installed, to me anyway, a better operating system. Unfortunately for me, we're not quite done just yet. There was another problem, and the fix is to tape over these two contact pins on both sides of the Wi-Fi card, as you can see. Wi-Fi will work just fine, but Bluetooth will not unless you do this fix. So here I have it. This laptop went from trash to smash.